are live.
We'll do it live!
Welcome, everyone, to Claret and Big Blue, probably the only podcast on the internet dedicated to West Ham United and the New York Giants. That's right, football and football balls for everyone's taste. I'm Mike Fish, and I'm joined, as always, by the main man in Houston. It's Alex Middleton. Alex, how you doing?
What's up, dude? What's happening, man?
What's the haps? What's the word on the streets?
Not too much happening, if you know what I'm saying. My dude.
Word on the street. I mean, I know we're going to be talking about this podcast, but word on the street is you may have or may not have finalized your exclusive pasta gravy beverage. You want to talk about that for a little bit?
Yeah. I mean, it's like I've been official for a little while. We just have like the branding and stuff. You can't. I showed you, but you can't show other people yet.
It's a secret.
Southern Straight Brewing Company. My podcast, Pass the Gravy. Darling Like a Marlin. It's a blackberry sour. It's going to come out May 29th up at the brewery. They're going to release that in cans. And yeah, I got to kind of help design the cans and not really help design. I just came up with the idea, and then somebody did all of the work that I asked for. And so that was pretty cool. Shout out to Alex Roses for doing that. But yeah, we get a beer release, dude. It's gonna be pretty sick.
Just gonna wait for breweries in New Jersey to work on that Claret and Big Brew. It's gonna be a moneymaker. It's gonna be a moneymaker. So this week, what happened this week? We had a pretty bullshit game against Chelsea. Bullshit red card.
Yeah, we did.
Before we get into that, draft day is in 2 days. I know we're going to talk about that a little bit later in the show, but are you excited for it to finally be here? Are you all swept up in the hype, or are you kind of like over it and be like, let's just get it over with? Kind of like,
dude, honestly, I'm over with it a little bit. Like, it's like I'm sick and tired of watching specifically Giants Twitter just because it's so uncertain, like where we're going this year. I feel like it's just people fighting over like, well, no, Kyle Pitts could fall here, Patrick Surtain could be here. What up, Micah Parsons? And it's just like, I just want it to be over so we just know who we got and we don't have to talk about it anymore. We can just be like, all right, cool, they're part of our team. Let's move forward and hope that they're pretty awesome. I'll mention this again later on, but like, I just hope we draft somebody that's badass and makes a lot of plays. That's the guy I want. I don't care what their name is or who they are or what like, it's like the Backstreet Boys. Who you are, what you did, where you're from, as long as you play for my fucking football team and make tackles or catches or whatever that position entails.
Indeed, I was gonna make more Backstreet Boys puns, but then I realized I don't actually know that many Backstreet Boys songs.
What about you? Are you swept up in the hype? Or you got draft fever?
No,
you a draftaholic over here?
I'm pretty over. Like, it's almost made me want to avoid going on Twitter for the last couple of weeks now, where it's like, well, we have released our version 16 of our mock. Oh,
if I could, I think Mel Kiper and Todd McShay are great at what they do. But if I had to fucking watch them debate one more time when I turn on sports, it's like I just like they're debating relevant stuff, and I'm just like, I'm over it, man. Like, let's just see where these kids go. That's what I just want to see that. Even
though it won't benefit us, I almost want us to trade away our 11th pick just for everyone to go, fuck, that fucks my mock up.
Yeah, man, I don't know. Mock drafts, I could look at mock drafts all day, but like they get old and repetitive. You're like, who had this one? Who had this one? Like, I wrote down a list of everybody I've seen the Giants draft in a mock draft, and that's who I have on my big board, is what we're gonna call it. Alex and Mike's big board. We're gonna put it up after the podcast, and if I 100% guarantee we will take one of the people that we put.
One of those 100
and
names.
It's literally every single person available for the draft.
It's our lock of the week.
Also, lock of the week. They will draft at least one quarterback. Somebody will draft a quarterback in the first round. Maybe even two.
It's where you get the bold predictions on this show.
One of the two great football minds of our times, I believe.
Says otherwise.
Well, brains of our time.
Brains.
Different football, but same use.
Joke's on him. I'm not even drunk yet.
Mm-hmm. I don't even have a beer with me.
You don't?
No.
Why?
It's just water, dude. I went a little hard this weekend. Who knows?
You could have lied and said that was vodka.
It is. It's just a big flask.
Big flask of vodka.
That's how we do it in Texas. Everything's bigger, buddy.
nice. Anyway, where do we segue from that? Do you know what's big?
What?
Chris Kavanagh's fucking ego. Yeah,
Dude.
That's a kind of slight. So, obviously, West Ham played Chelsea this past weekend. We'll get into that game in a minute. But obviously, the big talking point coming out of that was Chris Kavanagh sending off Fabian Balbuena, or Rocky Balbuena, as we like to call him on the show, for apparently kicking a ball, which is illegal now, according to Chris Kavanagh.
I'm not 100%. I'm fairly new in terms of like history to the game, but like Mike, the point, like soccer, a huge point of the game is kicking the ball. Would you agree or disagree on that?
That is an element of the game.
Okay, so
the element of football is the ball to connect with your foot.
You would kick it with your foot, and say someone were to slide in front of your foot as you were kicking it, and you were kicking the ball, and you do indeed kick the ball, but then somehow graze their foot because their foot was already in front of you because they were sliding to try and prevent you from doing that. Seems like you could do that without getting sent off, but apparently not, because Chris Kavanagh likes to make it about him. I was like, is Mike Dean reffing this game? No.
Whoa.
It's Chris Kavanagh. He must be inspired by him.
Mike Dean was indeed the fourth official for that game.
But I think it was probably killing him to watch Kavanagh go whip out the red card.
So this is my theory. So Chris Kavanagh is obviously a less veteran referee than Mike Dean. So before the game, I think Chris Kavanagh went up to Mike Dean.
Who sounds like the bass player of Mumford and Sons.
Yeah. Have you got any advice for this game? And Mike Dean was like, okay, at some point during this game, you'll find a moment that you're like, okay, I can make this game all about me. And Chris is like, how do I know when that moment is, Mike? And Mike's like, you'll know. When you know, you'll know. And then as Chris walked over to the VAR screen, I reckon he shot a little look over to Mike Dean. Mm-hmm. And Mike Dean was like,
he just gave him the nod.
You know what to do.
And he was like, I almost forgot. We're in the 80th minute.
I need to do this now. And he said,
not only did I watch that happen, let me go look at it on a replay 80 times and then just be like, no, you're right. That was a red card. We're just going to send you off like that. You want a fun fact? You want a little fun fact? Because, it wasn't like maybe it was no coincidence that the Big Six had all just tried to pull out to go to the European Super League, or then the EPL's trying to suck them off because they just they agreed to come back and they're trying to make good with them. But just this is a little fun fact that I picked up. 5 of the last 8 West Ham red cards have been rescinded.
By the way, breaking news in case you didn't know, Balbuena's red card was rescinded today.
Well, yeah, because they did rescind it because obviously it was a terrible red card that should never have happened. But 5 of the last 8 red cards, including Balbuena's, have been rescinded against West Ham. 3 of those 5 rescinded red cards came against Big Six clubs. You make up your own narrative from that. I'm not pointing fingers.
Just giving you the information.
Stating facts. # facts only. Makes you think. Also, West Ham, Chelsea, it was jockeying for position in the Champions League that Chelsea just kind of tried to help kill, kind of an interesting time for a bullshit red card that then would put somebody down to 10 men and then pretty much take them out of the running for the rest of the game. Which, did I mention, if we're going to if we're going to really look at the calls when we're looking at VAR, we're watching replays, I'm pretty sure there was a handball on Chelsea that I don't know if it stopped a goal, but it definitely redirected a ball out of bounds. And
I hate that guy. Can't pronounce his name, and I hate him.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I can't pronounce his name. I didn't even try, so you're braver than me for actually trying it. But he moves it with his foot, with his leg, and it was like I get your hand is going to kind of be down there, but that hit your hand and was redirected out of bounds because of it. You could argue that could have been a goal, and they looked at it and were like, no penalty.
But so the ruling is that if it hits your arm or hand and it's in an unnatural position, that's when give a handball. And his argument...
This is me standing at the unnatural position. Do you usually walk with your hands like this?
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. So Oh, no, okay. So when the ball, okay, no, we're all standing up now.
We're all
So
standing up. This is a very visual thing, everybody.
He looked like he was doing this, so the ball hit him there when he was doing this, which his argument was that's not a natural position, it's down by my side. However, his hand was like this, and then he moved it.
To stop the ball, because he knew he could hit the ball.
So I believe that was definitely, but not even bringing Chelsea into the argument. The fact that
wasn't called. So it was like we looked at that. We saw a blatant handball that we aren't going to call a penalty on. So then we're going to see a fucking kick, a clearance ball that we're going to just fucking, oh, no, that's a red card.
But the fact is that I think it was like 2 minutes, 3 minutes after Balbuena got sent off, Sufal did the exact same thing. And they didn't even get a free kick. So it's like, what is going on?
Make your mind up, dude.
But Adrian, he makes a good point. I would love for refs to do interviews after matches. Yes. I don't see why they don't have to.
No, because they're too busy getting escorted out of the premises because they're going to get murdered by the fans because they made shitty call week after week after week after week. It feels like maybe we go 2 or 3 weeks this season without some horrendous officiating call that arguably changes the outcome of a game. Not that like West Ham could have scored. West Ham should have scored some other goals, but you give West Ham that handball. Who knows how this goes? Who knows how this goes at all? We could have had 10 minutes with 11 men. Who knows? They looked like they were attacking pretty strong there at the very end. I'm not going to say that they would have come back or anything. It could have meant nothing at the end of the day. But it's like you're fucking teams out of opportunities. And when it is against these big six clubs, especially when it's a team like West Ham that's trying to bust through to that, it looks fucking sketchy as shit. I mean, and I get the big six are going to get those calls. You're going to get the benefit of the doubt on those calls. And it's just like, your biasness is showing. I don't fucking know. Like, we can tell what the agenda is. Make sure it's not West Ham. If it comes down to Chelsea or West Ham, don't let it be West Ham.
Because not only does there need to be accountability, like I think referees after the game, especially when there's like red card incidents or penalty calls, they should have to go in front of the press and at least say, hey, when you made this call, what was you thinking? Why did you give that decision that way? And then they should definitely do, like Adrian, they should do a scoring system for the refs. If they do poor, go down to a lower league and better refs come up. I'm not quite sure the logistics of that because I do believe, because technically, even though the Premier League is part of the FA, Premier League is almost, it's a weird relationship. So I think, I could be wrong, but I think the Premier League has separate referees to the rest of the league. So I don't think that could... But still, the point stands in that, yes, they should be held accountable in that you've had a game which, yes, you could argue that maybe West Ham wouldn't have scored in that last 10 minutes with 11 men. But because of that shitty decision, you put doubt in people's mind now. And it was a big game, which is probably... I mean, there's still 5 games to go, so who knows? But you could argue that that game was going to end up being winner gets the Champions League, loser gets Europa League.
Still could be, yeah. So very well.
So that was such a huge decision, and the fact that the FA or PGMOL, what the hell it's called,
PGA,
have said no, that was the wrong decision. So the red card's been rescinded. There should be something. Obviously, I'm not going to say they give West Ham points because that's ridiculous. You can't do that. But there needs to be some kind of system where, like, if referees keep making shitty decisions and ruining games, then they need to be punished in some form.
Well, what should okay? So about what is it? You get a straight red. That's 3
games.
It's 3 games. So Kavanaugh should not be allowed to ref for 3 straight weekends. Like that. Like if you get that's a pretty fair trade-off there. Like if you get VAR as an option, he looked at it as many times as he could, and then still was like red card. Gotcha. That's a 3-game suspension for Balbuena. Since it was rescinded, showing that Kavanaugh obviously made the wrong call,
the ban should be passed.
Kavanaugh should be all right. Now you got 3 weeks, bro. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sit at home and watch how real refs do it. Watch Mike Dean fuck it up.
But and also the person who is controlling the VAR, because I don't want to hear any, because I see it all the time where like, VAR needs to be removed, blah blah blah. VAR is not a problem. VAR is that's like saying, looking at the watch and reading the time wrong and then blaming the watch. No, the watch is doing its job. You just fucked up when you used the watch. So, but the person who was giving those pictures to Chris Kavanagh only showed literally 2 frames where it was just basically him stamping on his foot or stamping on his leg.
Which, yeah, I don't. Even when you look at that, you can see.
No, but I don't. It didn't look like they showed him kicking the ball first. But even still, he saw that in live, so he knew that the ball was kicked. So
yeah, he knew how it got there.
But what I'm saying is, don't get me wrong, Chris Kavanagh still fucked up, made a wrong decision, is an idiot, and needs to be punished in some form of way. But almost going on to that bias is that the person who was putting in the video definitely skewed that edit to make it look a hell of a lot worse than it was. Because if they just showed the full thing of him kicking the ball and then, yeah, when I kick the ball, my foot is going this way. If you put your leg that way, I'm sorry, you're getting kicked.
Yeah, it just made no sense.
Because it's exactly the same situation with Suchek, where he was just doing that and your face was in the way. When that guy was
right. I mean, I thought Suchek's to me, if you're gonna be like, oh, it's a red card, Suchek's was much more of a red cardable thing if you're just looking at it. Now, when you look back at it, like neither one of these should have been red cards, which is right why they rescinded them. But Suchek's, it's like, okay, well, at least like there was like an elbow in the face and shit. It's like he was the like I would have understood if it was like him going in on Chelsea trying to fucking make a play or anything, but it's like he's got the ball. You don't commit fouls when you have like. Who with the ball commits a foul?
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. Like I've saw something, and maybe they're just doing it to people get attention, so they get replies and the tweets gets exposure and blah 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 blah. But they'd be like, "Oh no, I used to play football." I'm like, "Okay, sure." Like, oh, he knew what he was doing when he did. Like, fuck off! No, you don't. You don't know what he was fucking thinking. He was thinking, "Get the fucking ball away," because I don't want them to score.
Right.
Like
he's doing his job.
Because there was no. It's not like if during the game at some point, several times there was instances where him and the Chelsea player as whatever fuck his name is, and Balbuena, maybe they'd come together a couple of times and there was like tension and the referee had to split him up a couple of times. Then maybe you could make the argument of, yeah, he made the most of that so he could hurt the guy. But there was none of that. Mm-hmm. It was just a defender clearing the ball, and the other guy, and the Chelsea guy did nothing wrong. In that he was a bitch about it. But was it even him? Wait, was it even him? I could be saying that, and it could be wrong. But anyway, but I know when he finally got subbed off, I think David Moyes said something to him, and he didn't like it. So I didn't see anything after that. But have you seen any of that or heard? I
saw it when it happened. I didn't see any follow up after the game, but yeah, no, I definitely saw Moyes say something to him, and then it looked like they kind of separated.
Adrian, he was thinking that he needs to put his laces through the ball to make the clearance, but in Spanish or Paraguayan.
Paraguayanese.
Now I need to find out, is it Spanish or Portuguese that they speak?
Oh, who knows? Man, we're really hitting the hard-hitting topics today.
Really deep
on Claire, Big Blue.
Regardless, official language is Spanish and Guarani.
Was that Justin Guarani? Was the guy that was runner-up on American Idol that one year?
Sure, I've never watched a single episode of American Idol.
You missed out on that one. Regardless, though, Chris Kavanagh should be banned. Like, I hate him. He fucked it up. And so I'm going to blame this one on him. Yeah, West Ham could have done other things differently. I'm going to blame it on him. I mean, the goal from Werner, that was a solid goal. I think it was, honestly, I don't think the defense was really in a poor position. I think they were playing pretty well. It was just a really good pass that went, it was a pretty lucky pass. I think some other guys thought that other people were going to take care of it, and just it kind of floated through there. Those are going to happen. If Werner gets contact with that inside the box like he was, I would assume him to put it away, even though he was struggling. It just was unfortunate. It was right before the half.
Yeah, I mean, kind of dive more into. It was a strange, maybe it was a strange performance from West Ham. Because correct me if I'm wrong from how you viewed it, but it seemed to me that it was just kind of we were just. I don't want to sound wrong, but for lack of, it was not that we weren't there, but it was just we was just there. It's like, okay, did West Ham deserve to win? No. Did they deserve to lose? Probably not. Oh, so they deserve to draw? I don't know. Like, it was kind of like it was just,
maybe, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, around, yeah.
We wasn't playing badly, but we didn't have any. There was obviously a couple of chances where we were attacking, but we wasn't oomphy. If you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm. It was again. I think Moyes tends to do this against those big clubs sometimes, where it's like they're playing not to lose more so than they were playing to win. And then it was like when they went down and then they were down 10 men, they really put that press up there, and it felt like they were getting some opportunities that they didn't have early on. And it was almost like, guys, if we just like go for broke, like, I'd rather get blown out by a big club than like play too safe. We've said this a couple of times, and like, just do that. Go out. Like, you got Jesse Lingard. Let him do what he can do, man. Like, let this group of guys that you got. I think this is a good group. Like, let them trust in your offense. And it was like they played back too much. And I know that we had Dawson out and just like not like we've got no Rice there. Noble like started to kind of, you could see like his age catching up to him. He was slowing down and just he didn't play a poor game. You can tell towards the end of the game when Noble's done, like we really gotta sub somebody in for him. And we weren't 100%, and I think that going against a team like Chelsea when you're not 100% maybe makes you think like we should stay back and just play defensively more so, but they did it too much, and I think they had some opportunities in the first half I feel like they could have made more out of.
Yeah, I mean, you can look back on, I think we touched base on it last week, where there was that league table during the whole Super League fiasco. There was that league table release where it was like, okay, if only the games of the other 14 teams counted, West Ham would be 9 points clear at the top of the Premier League, which shows that there is a dramatic shift in whether it be mentality, whether it be how we play against the quote-unquote Big Six. Because obviously we seem to shine against the other teams, but for some reason against the quote-unquote bigger teams, we just seem to not necessarily play better, but almost like shut down a little bit. And it's just try to stop them from scoring rather than we try to stop them from scoring rather than going out and trying to score our own goals. But I mean, you touched on it another little bit where Mark Noble, I thought he played well, but it was kind of sad.
He hits about that 60-minute mark, 60 to 70-minute mark, and you just see a noticeable decline in his play, and it's just. He's getting winded. His legs are just not there. It's kind of like Zabaleta. Like Zabaleta towards the end there, you could kind of see, all right, well, he's just not got the range he used to have.
The mind was willing, but the body was not.
Right. Or Eli. Some of these are getting away from him. He's there, but just, the Drew Brees. I could keep naming people. That's just going to be the thing I do. I just keep throwing out names. Yeah. But no. It was good that they subbed him in, but it's like that's just the problem with not having Declan in there. And I think Declan's in there. It's a little bit of a different game. That the middle of the field's not as available to Chelsea as it was throughout portions of it. And I just think that like Dawson being out of there was a huge difference to me.
Yeah, I think coming off the pitch when Noble was subbed off, you could tell he was very frustrated and annoyed. But I think you could. I mean, I've never spoke to him. He hasn't answered my phone calls, but I think he was. I think it was kind of a more rather than frustrated of being subbed off. I think that was kind of him being very self-aware, and he was just kind of annoyed that I can't do anymore. Like I'm just annoyed. Right.
I'm not ragging on him. Again,
no,
we're very pro Noble on this podcast, but it's evident that he's in a decline right now, and he's peaked. He's just on that downturn of his career, but. You're gonna have like he's a solid, like he was solid in the role he was in when we had Rice starting, where it's like I'm cool with Nobes coming in and getting 20-30 minutes every now and then, but just relying on him still every single time as the captain, even like he's our captain, but just relying on him every single time for a full game now is just kind of it's hard to watch sometimes.
Yeah, it was kind of if it's not one thing, it's the other because I think this was the first time in a while where I've actually seen, I think, David Moyes actually make the right substitutions at the right time. But it was kind of, so I think because when Noble was like, okay, he's checked out, so let's bring on, rather than bringing on the defender, which he would probably normally do, he actually brought on Benrahma and things like that. So he actually went for it, but
that was kind of like right around the red card, wasn't it?
I think it was before the red card.
It was right, but it was like around that time, and it was like
we just
that
started
was
going
when
in the
they
right
started,
direction, and it was like
because they were starting to get that push. They're like, all right, let's get a little bit of a push, and it's like, guys, if we had done this like early in the game, yeah, we didn't know we were gonna get a horse shit red card that was gonna fuck us over, but it's like when we had 10 men and we were pushing, we were getting some opportunities there at the end, and it's like if we had one extra guy, who knows what could have happened, you know? Like that's what really frustrated me with the red card. It finally felt like we were kind of gaining some momentum. Chelsea kind of came back like that. I was a little nervous, and then we get out of there. Balbuena goes to clear it, and just what the fuck happened? Like that it takes any kind of thing like that. It takes, especially that ends in a red card. It's going to take the sails out of one team, no matter what. When you have to stop and watch this lengthy fucking review, and then. To talk about the fucking lengthy review, the review took at least 6 minutes, and what did we get? 3 minutes of stoppage time?
Yeah, it was something like 3 or 4. It wasn't many.
It was maybe it was 4, but it was like the review took longer than the amount of stoppage time we had, and they were not shy with that whistle at all when it hit right at the mark. And I remember a couple of weeks ago we were watching West Ham. I know it was probably a entirely different crew, but like. I felt like I can't remember who we were playing. We were trying. It was maybe Wolves when we had the 3-2 lead, and we were trying to just like kill the clock with that. And it was like they went 2 extra minutes with it.
Yeah,
it's just like you can't hold up a game watching dumb VAR, make a terrible call, and then not even give us the amount of time it took to watch the VAR shit.
Apparently,
I just don't understand stoppage time sometimes. Like, to me, it seems pretty simple. Anytime there's a stoppage, you got a stopwatch. Start. Play goes back. Stop. And you just keep adding to that time. Like, it seems pretty simple, and then just round up at the end of it. Oh, okay. Well, we had about 4.5 minutes of stuff, and now this. Like, now we're going to go 5 minutes. So just 5 minutes of stoppage time.
But that's what there needs to be more transparency in that as well. Like, because I think with stoppage time, other than actual stoppages, but like I know with like substitutions, I think as far as I'm aware, they add 30 seconds on per substitution. But when was the last substitution you saw that lasted only 30 seconds? They milked the shit out of that, and they should.
Right.
It should just stop the clock. There should be. I mean, I get why they don't want to stop the clock when things happen, because then it kind of takes the excitement and tension of the added on time. But I think.
But why? Wouldn't it be more? It would make more sense.
It would make it more exciting, I think, when
How
you
do it
can actually see
where
it's like,
they can run out the final play.
There's like 44 minutes on the clock. Okay, there's literally the last minute. Shit needs to get done. But I think that would be more exciting than.
I mean, the ball goes out of bounds. Hit a stop button. Like, it's not that hard to do.
There's like,
there's not that much time. Then, like, when there's an injury, you get a realistic amount of playing time.
But yeah, I think that would be better than there's 4 minutes of added on time. Or is there?
4-ish minutes. Yeah.
4-ish.
You know what? I'm going to do that if I remember to on Monday. And just every time there's a stoppage, I'm going to hit start and stop on my phone and try and see if I can be like, this is exactly what it is.
But when are you going to stop it?
Like, when it goes out of bounds, when a player's down, if there's some sort of substitution, just stop it and start it back up when the ball's back in play. And then I should have a reasonable idea of how much stoppage time there should be. And if I have 3 minutes-ish and there's 7 minutes, we're going to something's up. Or vice versa.
And then we'll send the evidence.
Because how it is like every time it's West Ham that's up, I feel like it's 7 to 10 minutes. It's like how much time can we throw in? 8 minutes.
Especially when it's Man United.
Yeah. If it had been Chelsea, there would have been 8 minutes of stoppage time after that VAR review. If that West Ham, if that no handball for Chelsea had been against West Ham, that was totally going to be a penalty.
100%. But this was before your time. But obviously, I'm assuming you know of the name Sir Alex Ferguson, right?
Yeah, Manchester United's manager, right?
But it became such almost like a running joke of how much if Man United were losing, how much time was added on, that the nickname became, oh, we're now heading into Fergie time. Like we have to give Man United enough time to
right. They need 10 more minutes. We're just throw 10 more minutes on there. They still kind of get that benefit of the doubt.
But I mean, before we move on to looking ahead to their game against Burnley, let's bring up the table real quick, because it's not ugly per se. Because no matter what, so obviously Everton has got a game in hand over us. I guess technically you could bring in Aston Villa into that argument because they're at 32. But so no matter what, we are in 5th place with 5 games to go. So realistic, I mean, have you looked at the Premier League table? Have you studied it recently?
I'm looking at it right now. I mean, I don't like how close the top 8 are.
Well, that's so realistic. So let's just, for example, because what have we got? So we've got Everton are playing. I mean, they're not playing their game in hand yet, but let's just say they win their game in hand. So they're at 33 points and they're 55 points as well. But their goal difference is worse than us, so they'll be behind us. So they'll be in 6th. Then Liverpool will be 7th with 54.
Everton has a pretty solid schedule. They got Villa, us, Sheffield, Wolves, and City.
But I'm just saying, realistically, because now, thanks to Man City winning the League Cup and Chelsea and Leicester being in the FA Cup final, so it's pretty much solid that the top 7 will make Europe this year. Mm-hmm. And what's just making me nervous is when you look at it realistically, even though mathematically it's a lot different, but realistically, you're only looking at 8 teams, the top 8 that make Europe. So it's kind of the only one team misses out, and I'm like, please don't let it be us.
Fortune's always hiding, man. That's always in the back of my head. I mean, Liverpool's got a pretty tough stretch. No, they don't. Never mind. I'm looking at Liverpool as the tough team. They do have to play Man United this weekend, so that'll be a pretty big game for them. But then they got Southampton, West Brom, Burnley, and Palace. That's a pretty favorable schedule for them. Tottenham's schedule is not too bad. Ours is like, honestly, the Everton game is now a must-win to me.
Well, I was thinking of so out of the last 5 games, I think, and I haven't done the maths again on this, but I think if we win, even if we only win 4 out of those 5, that should be enough.
Brighton,
imagine.
Southampton, West Brom, and if we can beat Burnley this weekend.
Yeah.
But like, you got to assume we're going to drop points against one. Maybe just get the draw or anything like that. Isn't Burnley playing well? I feel like Burnley's been playing well lately.
Burnley have turned it up a little bit. But
I think we get a bounce that game, honestly, this week. But
they haven't because, so they lost against Man United 3-1. They lost against Newcastle. They lost against Southampton. But they suddenly turned it up against Wolves and beat them 4-0 recently. So it's almost like as soon as bad teams come up against West Ham, suddenly they find form. It's just magic.
Now, does this happen? I mean, again, fairly new to this whole thing. Where like with the Champions League, at least like the Champions League discussion, what qualifies for like. So Chelsea, say they win, they get in. Like, is the Champions League after the EPL?
How do you mean?
The final is it after?
Oh yeah. The Champions League.
Never mind then. Because I was like, if they win the final, then they might not have a reason to fucking give a shit anymore because they already qualified for next year. So like, who cares? But like, Chelsea's got
Champions League final is always after the end of the season.
Chelsea's got like a lot of shit going on in their schedule. They got City, Arsenal, Leicester. Twice they won in the FA Cup and then just won in the Premier League, and then they got Villa. Like, that's not an easy schedule at all. And I know it's really Chelsea, but
them losing against City would be very
them just dropping points and dropping points and dropping points. Like, win your fucking Champions League. I don't give a fuck. Win the FA Cup, but not like just move on down.
I mean, it then definitely 100% makes Everton a must-win game. But yeah, top 4 is still not out of the question.
Right. I mean, honestly,
all.
I think I'm pretty much not expecting top 4. If I'm being realistic,
I'm not expecting it. But I'm expecting
we got to win out to get
100%.
top 4.
I'm expecting 100% at this point for us to qualify for Europe. So if we drop out the top 7, I will be very annoyed.
It'd be a massive just like us shitting the bed because really like I understand the other teams can win their games, but like if we can beat Everton, we should be good. You know, we should be able to beat the Brightons, the West Broms, the Southamptons. We should be able to beat them.
100%.
Will they? That's a whole different story, but they should.
But yeah, looking ahead at Burnley. So I just got to think that I just can't. Because I think injury-wise, as far as I can tell, I mean, he's making no promises or anything like that, but I think we should have maybe Masuaku back, I think.
Okay. Masuaku's in the next 2 weeks, I think, for sure.
Oh, is it next 2 weeks?
I thought so.
But maybe they'd be...
Rice, I thought it was 2 or 3 more weeks.
Okay, well, I've just tried to pull some stuff up, but I don't know. I'm just getting nothing.
I'm not 100% sure on that stuff, though.
But I don't know. I think the players we have, I think we need to go 100% aggressive against. Let me change the. We definitely need to go aggressive. I think Burnley, we need to drop Noble to the bench. I think, and start with Ben Rama. And maybe just go with like a back. Maybe the keep was what would you play? The back 5. Where do we have? Because we had because now I'm gonna so because we got Balbuena's gonna be back, obviously.
Yeah, Dawson should be back, right?
Dawson should slot right in, and then is Ogbonna back?
I don't know.
No,
I don't know. I mean, like, part of me is getting excited because, like, you'd think, like, we're gonna get these guys back at some point together, and then we're gonna fuck up the teams we play in those games, right?
Well, yeah, Ogbonna played against Chelsea, so
I would assume,
being an idiot.
Good.
So you could almost who would you drop then? Because Dawson you'd think's gonna slot straight back in,
right?
So who do you drop? Do you drop Balbuena? Or do you drop Balbuena or Diop?
I think you drop Balbuena.
Do you risk potentially making it feel like you're still punishing him for the red? Or do you not care?
Fuck. I don't know, dude. What do you think? You think you bench Diop?
I would probably go with benching Diop because I think Balbuena is going to be fired up to play a game. Like,
yeah. I'm cool with either of them. I like both of those guys. So like, they both have their upsides and their downsides for me. So I could go either way.
So apparently, ex-WHU employee said Rice and Antonio are ahead of schedule, but that doesn't. What was their schedule before though? Was it they were
before the end of the season,
and now they're going to be back for a week? I don't know. So you got to think we're going to play pretty much the same team. So Sufal and Fredericks as wing backs. But I would almost just go go nuts. And even though they played Noble and Souček in the middle, defensively midfielders, I would just play Souček on his own in the middle. I think he's big enough. He's a big boy. He can handle that. And then just go with like a front 4 almost.
Yeah, I don't hate that.
But realistically, do we think it's going to happen? Realistically, no. I think Noble's going to be starting that game, right?
Yeah, we're in the same exact.
But maybe with Dawson thrown in instead of
right. I mean, I think Dawson's definitely in.
He needs to come back because that's what we've been missing. We've been missing the solid Dawson Ogbonna partnership.
when he's not getting own goals, but yeah.
But at least he gets own goals when it's, we're 3-0 up. I can handle that.
Yeah, I guess so. But we need another 3-0 start at least. I'll be cool with that. Let's do that to start the game this week against Burnley. I think we win. I don't even know if I want to give a score prediction. I think we got to get it done. I think we got to get it done. We got to get some offense. We got to play better defensively. Fabianski, I think, had a pretty solid game last week to make up for his previous game against Newcastle. I think Fabianski's got to show up again. Really, I think we have this. This is a must-win game for us at this point. We really need to win, show that we can get back on track after 2 straight losses. We were having such a great streak until the last 2 weeks. I think we got to have a bounce-back game.
Yeah, I think you're right in that. It's going to be a tough game to go a score prediction. But I think
I go 3-1. 3-1 West Ham.
Okay. So apparently we're going to do this then. So you're going to go 3-1 West Ham. I'm going to go left field a little bit, even though they seem to have found a little bit of form recently. And they do tend to score goals quite a lot. They haven't. So now I'm going to go nuts. We're going to shut them out. I'm going to say we're going to shut them out. But I think it's going to be a tight game. So I'm going to go 2-0 West Ham.
I'd be cool with that.
I'd definitely be cool with that. And hopefully
cool with that.
Chelsea lose.
Hopefully everybody around us loses. Yeah.
Who's got everyone? Who's the next up for everyone? So, I mean, realistically, if Man United beat Liverpool, Chelsea lose, and it's not going to happen, but somehow Sheffield United, who are already relegated, turn up and beat Tottenham, that'd be nice, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, let's hope Tottenham shits the bed.
Realistically,
as always,
Liverpool could lose this weekend, and Chelsea could lose this weekend. And if we beat Burnley, then back in the game.
Exactly. All you gotta do is win every game. All we gotta do is win every game.
Win every game. Okay. Anything on that you want to add before we move on to the other type of football?
I think we covered it pretty much, man.
I mean, it was pretty. I don't think you're gonna get any kind of better coverage than that. Just don't bother listening.
These are the greatest football brains of our times.
Don't bother listening to any other podcast unless that other podcast is Past the Gravy, which new episode drops tomorrow or Wednesday, depending on when you listen to this on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. What have the good people of the universe got to look forward to this week on Passive the Gravieth?
We're gonna talk about slam ball. Remember slam ball? Do you even know what slam ball is? Basketball with trampoline
trampolines, yeah.
Yeah, dude. We're gonna talk about that. That's pretty sick.
Are they bringing it back?
No, it went viral the other day, and people had no idea what it was, and I was just like, "You guys didn't know what slam ball was? That was absolutely electric. I loved slam ball as a kid." We're gonna talk about that. Seahorses. Talk about seahorses for a little bit. Seahorses forever. And yeah, just all kinds of fun stuff. I'm just thinking of stuff off the top of my head. I don't have
making up now. Have you got
the Oscars? The Oscars. How excited everybody was for the Oscars. No. And we do our final mock draft of the season,
which is on.
Yeah, nobody. We don't know yet. Only one more though.
You like to play your cards close to your chest, Mr. Biddle.
Well, we haven't decided either. So,
but I mean, I don't want to spoil the discussion tomorrow. But Oscar, I don't know what it was, but Oscars. I had no idea until I went onto Twitter and it was like a trending topic. Oh, Oscars is tonight. I was like, oh shit, the Oscars is tonight. Apparently, I had no.
Yeah, I just didn't care enough. Emma had it on for a little bit. I just didn't know any of the movies.
There was a couple. I watched it for like an hour.
I had heard of some, but I don't think I watched most of them.
I actually quite liked for the hour I watched. I don't know if I was going to watch it for the full. I don't know how long it went on for, 3-4 hours, but I kind of liked the the kind of doled down format where it was just them sitting in a train station saying, these are the nominees. This is something fun about the nominees. The winner is. Cool. Next award. It was very, what's the word?
Cool.
Low-key. It wasn't,
Low
yeah, it
key.
wasn't.
Yeah, that's what the kids say these days.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I didn't, but yeah, I didn't watch the whole thing because I don't care enough. Okay. So that is Pasta Gravy. Look forward to that on wherever you listen to podcasts.
We got new shirts. We got new shirts. PastaGravyMerch.com. Darn like a Marlin, baby.
That's to celebrate a new beer, I heard, on the streets.
Kids are saying that.
One thing I do want to... Two things I want to throw your way, which kind of like grind my gears. One, be faster with the YouTube version. I want to watch that shit. I like the YouTube version.
Robert's got a job, man. He's got to edit that stuff. I'll see if he can get it up any faster.
Pay him more then, so he can quit his job. And
it's usually up by Saturday morning.
But also, be less interesting.
What? Be less interesting?
Because I find one of my favorite forms of podcasts are those kind of podcasts where you can just stick them on, and I'm not gonna have to think too much, and it's just kind of like it just feels like I'm hanging out with the fellas, you know. I'm talking about those type of podcasts, and Pasta Gravy does a fantastic job.
Guys being dudes.
So, but when I listen to Pasta Gravy, it's kind of like, okay, I'm just gonna kind of chill and just listen to it and kind of drink beer and just let it happen, sort of thing. But then every now and again, someone says something, and I'm just like, now I'm thinking too much. Like, was it last week where it was if your shirt's untucked, is your pants tucked into your shirt? Fuck, yeah. That ruined me for a good 30 minutes. That's all I can think
snakes
about.
Have long necks or long tails, and then we just argued over that nonstop. But yeah, that's about like 70% of the podcast, I feel like, though. So
yeah, so that's good stuff. Good stuff. Good shit. Pasta Gravy.
Appreciate it, man. Who knows what we'll talk about tomorrow? Who knows?
I will tomorrow once I listen to it. But yeah. All right. So let's get on to some football news, because unless you didn't know I am Cletus the robot. Enjoy the draft on
Fox.
Fox. Although very early episode of Claret and Big Blue, we found that exclusive there. That Cletus speaks with an Alabama accent. He's actually from Birmingham. Adrian, be less interesting. In other words, be like Arlo White and say the same thing over and over again. Oh,
hey, Arlo thought it was a horseshit red card too. So you know what? He was cool with us this week.
Yeah, Adrian's words, Arlo, not ours.
But yes, we get it. We get what you're saying, bro.
Yeah,
I get you, Adrian.
Dun, 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 dun. I'm Cletus the robot, and now I'm looking forward to the draft. So finally, the draft is here. It's here. It's on Thursday. So yeah, we touched on it. Obviously, we're kind of hyped for it, but almost hyped for it to just be finally over with, and to find out who's
first round at least. Yeah,
first round. So, what's the word on the street? Who are we getting, Alex? Who are the New York Giants getting in the first round?
Well, on the Claret Big Blue podcast big board we got, this is our lock of the century of the week.
And make sure you, by the way, if you're not watching this, go to our social medias at C&BB Pod. Wherever you get your social media fix, you'll see it in a minute. But yeah, anyway, Alex, show us the big board.
What is the drop you had for it? This is, you could take this to the bank, or it's a lock. You played something like that.
A shoe-in of the week.
That's a shoe-in of the week, because one of these is gonna be on the New York Giants tomorrow or Thursday, depending on when you're listening to this. All right, one of these people, not anybody specific, but out of this list, one of them will be on the New York Giants. So this is who the Giants will take in the first round. Micah Parsons, linebacker, Penn State. Devonta Smith, wide receiver, Alabama. Jalen Waddle, wide receiver, Alabama. Patrick Surtain, cornerback, Alabama. Rashawn Slater, tackle, Northwestern. J.C. Horn, cornerback, South Carolina. Also the son of Joe Horn, former Saints wide receiver. Penei Sewell, tackle, Oregon. Jeremiah Osusa Koromoa, linebacker, Notre Dame. Gregory Rousseau, defensive end, Miami. Azeez Ojulari, defensive end, Georgia. Kwity Paye, edge, Michigan. Elijah Vera Tucker, offensive lineman, USC. Kyle Pitts, tight end, Florida, or Rashad Bateman, wide receiver, Minnesota. And then, Isaac Harris from Ole Miss, wide receiver. Those guys, one of them 100% will be on the New York Giants on draft day, assuming the Giants don't trade way back.
Drop the mic, Alex, because that was some hot shit.
Really, how I got that was I looked at every mock draft of the Giants I could find and just wrote down the names of players that people said the Giants would pick. So I'm assuming one of them has to be right.
So somewhere out there in the universe, at least one person has put their reputation on the line and said the Giants are picking that person.
We got 11 picks. We're pick 11. I gave you 14 names. So one of them's got to be there, at least we're drafting. Now, I'm not a scientist, but if you want me to break down how I think the draft's going to play out, I can only tell you till about number 4 in the draft. So it's going to be Trevor Lawrence, number 1, no matter what. It looks like it's pretty much a lock. The Jets are going to take Zach Wilson, quarterback guy at BYU. Mac Jones is who I'm hearing the 49ers. Who I'm hearing is, I like that I feel like I'm talking to people. Sources are Twitter, just stuff I see on Twitter. But Mac Jones seems like that's where the 49ers are leading, according to Twitter. And then maybe Trey Lance from North Dakota State. Then Falcons could take Trey Lance or Kyle Pitts. And that's about as far as I got with it. It gets like people were saying there's going to be trades and shit. I don't know.
Do you know, I just thought of this before we get back onto the draft. To capitalize off of what's hot right now.
Right, okay.
What the kids are all talking about. So you have the Atlanta Falcons, right?
Mm-hmm.
Washington is still kind of in the market for a new name.
Right.
So you have the Atlanta Falcons. You could have the Washington Winter Soldiers.
Yeah,
and then when they face each other, it's Falcon versus the Winter Soldier. All the Marvel fans would be tuning in, ratings through the roof.
I mean, that's a very specific. Yeah, I mean, why not try that? It's better than the football team.
There's like, what is it, like 3.7 billion people in this
there
world?
Was a TV show for it. I didn't know that there was a Winter Soldier. I just knew.
But
I didn't know there was a Falcon either, if I'm going to be real.
Population of...
Wait, is Captain America the Winter Soldier?
No.
Oh,
okay, I was way off. Apparently there's 7.674 billion people on Earth. That's a lot
of people. Yeah.
I was way off. But anyway, my point is that out of those 7.6 billion people, at least 6 billion of them have watched a Marvel movie. So... capitalize on that.
Right, you got to strike while the iron's hot. I mean, not a bad idea, dude.
So I might start a petition for the Washingtons to be renamed the Washington.
I just hope it's a terrible name, honestly, whatever they land on. But yeah, so I mean, the Giants in 11 yesterday. Actually, the Chargers tweeted out something along the lines of the Giants trading.
Wait, shh. I found the perfect segue. Because Washington need a new name. Why?
Where'd you hear that from? The liberal media?
Boom!
Exactly. Finally. And then he dropped his mic.
Literally dropped the mic. That's how good that was.
Because, I mean, I sent him those 2 clips, and I was like, I don't know what you could use these for, but I said these in my other podcast, and maybe you could use it for that. He was like, okay, I'll hang on to them. There we go.
Boom.
We found a way.
Sorry.
found
Yes.
a
So
way.
Giants draft. Go.
We're picking 11. Yesterday, the Chargers they tweeted and then deleted. The Chargers and Giants have swapped picks, so the Giants would have gotten, I think, another Chargers pick, and like they would take the 12th. The Chargers would move up to 11th, and then that was quickly deleted. They acted like nothing happened, but like, so just keep an eye out for that, because that could be something that was in the works, but maybe it could have fallen through. It could also be something that's just not, they wanted to keep under wraps until draft day. I always think it's weird switching like one spot up, and I guess you're just trying to prevent anybody else from trading up to get somebody, but I don't know. The whole draft trading stuff is confusing to me at times. All I know is that you can get Eli Manning for Phillip Rivers and Sean Merriman and Nate Kading, and you can win yourself 2 Super Bowls that way. So I'm cool with that. That's what I do know in draft trades. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff that can happen, man. Honestly, the guys I'd like, again, I'm not trying to like pick like who they should get. I'd be really happy with Micah Parsons. I think he's awesome out of Penn State. We got Kenny Galladay, but if we get another wide receiver, I don't think that can hurt. If I had to go with him, Devontae Smith, it seems like everybody's high on him. He's undersized to me. I'm not a football expert, but I don't know. His size is questioned to me. I like Jalen Waddle too, though. I like all the Alabama guys, honestly. We got Patrick Surtain. I think he's a solid corner. If we just had a stockpile of cornerbacks nobody could throw on us, I'd love that. That's why J.C. Horn's another good guy. And then Slater and Sewell, the offensive linemen, would be solid guys there.
Are you gonna like put your reputation on the line and say 100% who you think we're gonna take? Because I'm willing to do it. I think I know who we're gonna take.
All right, who do you think we're gonna take?
I'm putting if I had to put money on it, which I don't, and I'm not going to because I don't always lose when I gamble. But I'm gonna go for Devontae Smith. I think he's gonna be a Giant on Thursday.
Yeah, that's what I would say that's probably what the most of the mock drafts are saying. I could see that too.
I think it's gonna be either him or Jalen Waddle, and I'm just putting mine on because I think out of the two, I think, again, I'm not a huge college football expert, but just going from what I've seen and what the stats and all that bullshit, I think I'd rather go with Smith. And I think we would
have so many receivers, and it's like I would rather have an embarrassment of riches than not have enough guys. We know that with the last couple of seasons. I just think like the Galladay signing, like what does that mean for us bringing in a receiver? I have no idea. I love Kyle Pitts. I really love Kyle Pitts. I don't think Kyle Pitts is going to be around.
Maybe that's what switches picking, out. Maybe
but I love Kyle Pitts, and if we get Kyle Pitts and somehow get rid of Evan Ingram, like, dude, Kyle Pitts could be a beast, and he'd actually be the good tight end for Danny instead of somebody who just turns the ball over. And I think that would take Danny to another level. But then again, like on offensive linemen, like you can't like I'm sold on anything because the Giants aren't a full product just yet. They're missing some pieces, and it's like, oh, what? We're gonna protect our quarterback more? Yeah, cool. I'm fine with an offensive lineman as long as they're good. Just don't end up being shitty. That's my whole thing. Like, just don't get up.
I definitely think you still there? Yeah, okay. You froze a little bit. I think we could definitely do with strengthening our offensive line. But I'm just, if we're literally only talking about our pick at 11, I think with who's probably going to be available at 11, I think it's almost like a wasted pick if you go O-line pick 11. So
unless it's the best player in the draft, the best available player is who I'm down to get.
I mean, again, I've seen a lot of people talking about how the Giants apparently are very high on getting an edge rusher, but same thing. It's like we don't need to take the 11 pick. You taking that position. So I think what's going to be more interesting is going to be. I think it's going to be more interesting to see what we do in the following rounds. That's going to be, I think, more pivotal in our season. I think.
Oh, 100%. I 100% agree with you because like this is like you're just gonna get somebody to plug in that obviously should be a day one starter. I would assume if you're picking them 11th overall. But like to me, like that's like everybody's got this like I must get this guy or I must get this guy. I'm just like honestly, you can't tell me you can't protect the quarterback too much. oh no, Daniel Jones is too protected with offensive linemen. I'm fine with that. No, Daniel Jones has too many guys to throw to. I'm also cool with that. Oh no, we have too many guys that can sack the quarterback and stop runs. Yeah, let's do that. Linebackers too, like Micah Parsons. I love him. If I could pick anybody for the Giants to have, I'm not saying like just personally me, Micah Parsons. I don't think he's going to be available at 11. If we could get Micah Parsons, I would absolutely love it. What was the dude's name? And I loved him so much last year that I don't remember his name right now. But the linebacker out of Clemson that the Cardinals took.
Steve Smith.
No, I'm googling it. Clemson linebacker, Cardinals. Isaiah Simmons. I liked Isaiah Simmons a lot for the Giants last year, and we had the opportunity to take him, and we didn't take him, and I'm okay with that. But like, I think in this league now, with the way that tight ends are going, or like the way that tight ends are trending, you get so many teams that if you can get separation in between the linebackers, if you can put a linebacker on a tight end and your tight end can just beat them off the ball and get separation every single time, I think that like there's so many mismatches that are because of the Gronkowskis and like the Aaron Hernandez is initially started that like, hey, you just can't cover this guy. Like now you have an extra tight end that is going to fuck you up as well as our receivers on the outside. So you got to look for two things. He can also block. You don't even know if you're going to have to cover him, but he's going to burn your linebacker if he goes against him. Micah Parsons has that kind of speed where he can keep up with those guys. And I think that he could be a huge help for this Giants team. So I think him and Blake Martinez would be a solid guy, a couple guys to go together. I would love Micah Parsons. I don't personally think he's going to be available, but that's probably my favorite person in the draft. That's not I like Trevor Lawrence. Like I watching videos of Micah Parsons. He's really good. He's fun to watch. So that would be my guy.
I mean, admittedly, whenever I've been looking at mock drafts and things like that.
And Patrick Surtain would be my second too.
I've been pretty much just scrolling straight to 11 to see what people are saying the Giants are going to take. So where is like the common knowledge that Parsons is going to? Where does everyone think?
It just depends because I see on everything there's like trades and stuff going out, and
I mean you've got to be pretty ballsy to do a mock draft including trades like that because
that's what I think it kind of takes away from it. But there's always a trade that like happens and then it just fucks up everybody else's mock drafts. So I get they're trying to get ahead of it. I mean, I'm seeing some where like Micah Parsons can go to the Giants. I don't know, man. Micah Parsons here. He's going to who has this? Peter King from NBC Sports. He's got the Giants taking him at 11. Like I see him going before that. There's so many teams that could trade up though and get somebody like him. So that's really what's confusing me.
PFF.com
Bengals
who's going to get Rashawn Slater.
Offensive tackle. I'm cool with him. He seems like he's pretty solid.
But I just pretty much everyone I went to for me.
Vinny Iyer has Rashawn Slater.
But I think the point. I think we should definitely not be shocked if Giants pick up a wide receiver at number 11. I think that wouldn't be a shock.
Oh, I don't think so either. Like, there's so many people who are saying that they're going to get wide receivers. My personal favorite guy, the draft guy, is Lance Zierlein. I'm trying to scroll through here to see who he says they're going to take because he always has a pretty good read on that shit. The fuck is it? Maybe I'm just not going to find it. I don't know. No, he's not on there. But Daniel Jeremiah has Devontae Smith. So, yeah, that would be a solid one. Todd McShay has Devontae Smith. Yeah, so, I mean, I'm not going to dig through all of these, but there's some solid guys that I feel like we could get. I mean, all these guys are pretty awesome. So, like, if we get in, just as long as they pan out, just don't be shitty. Don't be shitty. Don't miss on this draft class. Gettleman, I feel like, got a lot of shit for a while, and I think people are starting to kind of realize, like, the guy drafted well last year. I think he did pretty well in free agency this year. I think that he had a plan. He was just waiting on that plan to take place.
I think one thing we can guarantee that's going to come out of this draft is no matter who we pick, there'll be
People are going to hate him.
Giants
for a
Twitter.
little bit.
We wasted this. Blah, 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 blah.
That's exactly the same thing as rooting for the captain to fail on the boat that you are on. This is our team. If you didn't like Danny, I didn't like Danny draft night. I love him now. He's my guy. He's your bro, dude. You got to ride with him. Whoever we draft, we got to fucking they got to be good. Just don't be bad. We can't tell that they're going to be bad when they get drafted. So fucking booing them, come on.
Yeah, buddy of mine, I talk to him like once a week over a couple of beverages. He's a Raiders fan, but he's like, obviously keeps up with, and he makes a point of like, you guys should be all in on Daniel Jones because what else are you gonna do? Like, it's not you can't restart now.
Matt Glennon's not our guy.
So work with him, otherwise you're gonna be fucked for even longer. But
I 100% agree.
Daniel Jones is our guy. To support our guy, you can obviously, if you want to support Daniel Jones and also this podcast, you can go to merch.cbbpod.com, get our awesome Viva la Dimes shirt. And right now, if you order within the next 7 days, use the code DRAFT21. You get 15% off your order.
Wow. What a deal.
Wow.
What a deal.
Shit. But it's only these next 7 days. So if you're watching this for some reason in like the year 2022, probably doesn't work. Sorry. But sorry about that. But if you are watching this live or around before, anyway, just go to merch.cbbpod.com. It's awesome. There's some great shit going on there.
It's darling like a marlin over there.
It's not, but you can also get. So once you go to merch.cbbpod.com and
I was saying it's merch.cbbpod.com is darling like a marlin. That's what I was saying.
Okay. Okay. Because I was just going to say, once you've gone to merch.cbbpod.com and ordered your Viva La Dime shirt, feel free to then head over to pastthegravymerch.com and order your Darling Like a Marlin t-shirt. Like, they go together so well.
I really agree. I couldn't agree more, honestly.
They like complement each other so well. Okay, so that's locked in stone. Giants are 100% going to draft Devontae Smith or not. That's our lock. That's definitely one of those scenarios is definitely going to happen. Any final fleeting words that you want to add? I
think we covered it. Like Sam Houston State football playing North Dakota State. Let's go Bearcats this weekend. College football still going on, so pay attention to that, guys. Saturday at 3, I guess it's 3 your time.
Where did a Bearcat come? Where like
just part bear, part cat.
The evolutionary chart. Where did that?
I don't know.
Like, did a bear mount a cat, or did a really brave cat get freaky with a bear?
Who knows, man? I just know I wouldn't want to fuck with one. They have one in the San Diego Zoo. They look like I think it's like a Wolverine, just in a different location.
It's almost like a bear and a cat, a sea and a horse, which you can join that discussion tomorrow.
Perfect. There we go.
.com.
Well, let's go West Ham this weekend. Let's go West Ham. Let's go Sam Houston. Draft a bunch of people.
Playing this weekend,
Giants.
Alex,
Monday,
they're playing this weekend.
They're playing Monday.
We're supposed to be the greatest minds the football has.
I mean, we are. To me, that's like the weekend. Whatever. Like until we play, it's the weekend.
You're embarrassing us in front of Arlo Wyatt.
Hey, Arlo.
Hey, buddy. I know you're watching. We love you. Until then,
no room for racism, dude.
Make sure you follow me, Mr. Mike Fish. Him, Alex J. Middleton. Is your middle name J like Homer? Like it was literally J. J-A-Y.
No, it's Joseph.
Ruined that.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, Alex J. Middleton at CBB Pod. Check us out. Make sure you give us a like, follow, subscription wherever you're watching or listening, whether it be on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, Spotify, Apple Podcast, all that good stuff. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your pets. Give us a listen, give us a watch. We love you. We appreciate you. Until next time, come on, you Irons, and we will see you next Tuesday.